Hello again, everyone. Today I have something very special to share with you that I ordered from Jeane Oliver. Jeane Oliver is an artist that has been teaching some classes in some of the online workshops and classes that I've been taking lately, and I really like her style. And she was also part of the sketchbook revival for 2023, and as part of that, she gave a discount on some of her products that she has. And these are not made by her. Her products are not made by her, but they are imported from the UK. I forget the company name. Maybe it will say it on the product, but there is a specific company. But let's go ahead and get in here so you can actually see what I am talking about. So it came so beautifully wrapped with some lavender, and the package smelled delicious because of all that lavender. Let me put that package off to the side. So Jeane Oliver, you can of course Google her, but she has a website. I'll actually put her website down below. But she's a really interesting mixed media artist because she has a very distinctive style, and it's very not necessarily minimal, but she uses sort of a limited palette and a lot of natural materials. And these are kind of an outcropping of that art practice. Before I get into the package, I'm like super excited about opening this because it's so precious. But now it has lavender on it. But as you can see, I did find my Canson watercolor sketchbook that I'm going to be swatching these things on when I open them. I'm going to be doing it on this page because there's not many things in this package. So I'm going to be focusing on this area here that already has some other products on it from other videos. But let me go ahead and get in here. And you kind of know what this is based on the title of the video, but you know, there's always a little bit of anticipation. And I definitely want to keep this lavender because I don't know where this lavender came from, but it smells amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and put it back in the packaging. And, ooh, if I'm not mistaken, that might be Palo Santo. That is, you know, it's almost like an incense that you would burn. I don't know, that smells good too. Everything smells good. This is a feast for the senses. I'm going to try and get all those little lavender bits off of here. I love lavender, and lavender is so calming as far as the smell goes. So it's really nice. All right, I'm going to unwrap this. Oh my goodness, it's like wrapped to the nines here. And I will definitely keep this string for some other kind of project, because string is always useful. Then she has her little business card here. Creativity is calling. Will you answer? Well, we'll see. We'll see if I'll answer. Oh, I might need to remove that actually. You know, maybe I should have done some of this unwrapping before the video, right? And I apologize for my hoarseness today. I'm still recovering from COVID, but doing much better. COVID's no joke, guys. I don't recommend getting it. All right, so I'm actually gonna brush this off into the inside of that packaging too, so that I can later on get all that goodness out of there. All right. These are actually, I had been checking out her website and looking at these for a while, so the gift certificate or the discount code was just something to reinforce my want of purchasing these in the first place. Okay, let's see. A lot of anticipation here, guys. All right, so here we go. So these are what they call Pigment Cigars. Okay, yes, Wallace and Seymore. And I have actually purchased some products made by them before. They do a lot of historical pigment work. I think one of the main things that I bought from them before was a genuine indigo watercolor. And I think I also got some different gessos and things from them that had sort of interesting materials. But these are, like I said, Pigment Cigars. And essentially what they are is giant pastels. So this whole chunk in here is a giant pastel. So now this is going to be a little messy, and you know, as usual, I'm not all that prepared for the mess. I'm going to get a tissue that I have off to the side that I use for fountain pen ink, and I'm going to have this handy. And actually, what is a good tip for when dealing with things with dry pigment like this is to have something with a little bit of water on it off to the side. So I'm actually going to dip this in water a little bit so that I can wipe my fingers off as I'm doing this. And I also have something to share with you that I learned recently. I did a little Googling because I've been trying to figure out what products to use with soft pastels to kind of set them. Because you can use water, you can use matte gel medium, you can use a variety of different things. See, I'm trying to find what the best way to open these is without completely obliterating the packaging. So what I did find, I'm doing some little Googling, some people had some good luck with this airbrush medium from Golden as far as setting the pastel, and it really retained a good saturation of color, because if you add water to soft pastels, they will get a little dilute. But this supposedly works real well. I have never used airbrush medium, so this will be my first use of this in any way. But it seemed like it would be really good for this purpose, so I decided to go ahead and get some. So once I put these down, assuming I can get them unwrapped, we will... Okay, and I'm gonna have to find some way to store these too so that they don't get all over the place. But look at that. I mean, that is a huge thing of pigment there. Does it say which color this is? Yes. So this is Fosse Turquoise. So I'm going to try and go a little bit faster with unwrapping these others now that I kind of know how to do it here. And then I'll just preserve all this packaging so that I can figure out how to store these long term. This is cerulean blue, which is like, oh my God. Yeah, and that's broken in the middle, which is fine because, you know, it's a huge cigar there. So that's cerulean blue. I also have turquoise green. Oh boy, guys, I totally should have done this before starting the video. I just had no idea that they would be wrapped to this extent. So I'm gonna unwrap that there. This is, like I said, turquoise green. So I got a few different variants on blue and green. So here, and there is some dust, and I do plan to save all the dust that's in here. So, because I mean, that's good quality pigment in there. And then here, the last one is indigo. I do really like the indigo watercolor that I have from Wallace Seymore. The only problem with natural indigo is that it's not necessarily the most light fast. But you know, I mean, if you're doing work in your sketchbook, personally, light fastness has never really been an issue for me. So there's the indigo. And let's actually start with that one since that's the last one I open. But you can see they get all over your fingers. So if you have a little wet tissue, you can kind of wipe your fingers off and it's pretty easy. You could also use a baby wipe or something like that. So let's go ahead and get in here and see what the texture is on these. I'm gonna do a circle. Ooh, interesting. I do like that. Oh, and that's actually really pretty. Okay, I'm gonna leave all the dust there, and then I'm gonna put that airbrush medium on and see what we can do in the way of fixing it here to the page. So that was the indigo. I'm going to go on to the turquoise green now. There actually was a little piece in here, so I think I'm just going to use that. What do I have? 4? Oh, yeah. Nice. These are a delight. And then I'm going to go to the cerulean blue, which did break in half here. Oh, wow. Yeah, I figured this would be one of my favorites. I think it was the most expensive because cerulean blue pigment is not cheap. And these are not cheap, but I felt like with the coupon code, it was a little bit of a splurge, but I've really been getting into soft pastels. I want to say again, because I did use them a lot in when I was taking class. Oh, wait, did I do that one already? Which one's this? Fossy turquoise. No, this is not the one I did. I did the turquoise green. Oops. And this is going to be pretty similar, but you know, somewhere in between. But these are just lovely colors. Oh. And she had a lot of neutrals as well on her website. I am a big blue fanatic, so I did want to focus on blues here, but there's so many nice things. And I think she does have some Wallace and Seymore watercolors as well. So now that I've kind of made a big mess here, I am going to use this brush. Oh, and I do still have some pigment on my fingers. Try to get that off. Maybe I may have stained my fingers, but it's okay. I'm not as concerned with getting pigment on my hands when it is in dry form. Even with water, it shouldn't be too bad unless you're sensitive to the pigment. But you know, wearing gloves would probably be the safest thing in this circumstance. And, you know, if you ever added oil to any of these, you probably would not want to get it on your hands because what oil does and oil paint does is it kind of like goes through the skin. So it breaks the skin barrier and takes that pigment along with it. So that can be kind of dangerous if you do that. So I'm just breaking up some of the pigment here on the side. Oop, I think that's actually this one. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this airbrush medium. Oh, and I was going to tell you, so this is a Princeton Select Angular Shader in a 1/2 inch. So recently Joann's had an incredible art supply sale, and I really kind of went nuts buying a bunch of different brushes. I'll probably do a separate video testing the brushes that I got as part of that sale. Most of the brushes I got were more aimed towards like gouache and watercolor, but there were some acrylic paint brushes as well that I had on my list that were at a really good price. But for today, I'm going to be using this angle shader. This will be the first time I'm using this brush, but it's stiff enough to use for this, I think. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a dollop of this medium in the middle of each of these circles. I may need to add more because since I haven't used this before, I don't know what would be the correct amount. I'm going to wet my brush a little bit, but I'm also going to wipe it off so that it's not super wet. So it's just damp, basically. And let's go ahead. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. I mean, I think that might be enough. Maybe I'll add a few more drops. But there really wasn't much, oops. There really wasn't much dilution of the color. So that's nice. And I kind of do want to get like a lot of these little bits dissolved. Okay, so I'll have to check this after it dries to see how well it really does what I'm calling fix it so that it doesn't rub off the page. Okay, so then I'm gonna rinse off my brush, do the same thing, rinse off my brush, and then wipe it off so that it's just damp. And then let's go down to this color. Oh wow, that's actually making it a little bit more vibrant. And this is that other color here on the side because sometimes it's hard to tell in dry form what color is what. Okay, so that seemed like the right amount for this one. Maybe I had less powder here. But oh my goodness, I am just thinking this is gonna be fun to play with. This is gonna be a new fun experiment. All right, so same process every time. Rinsing off the brush, making it just damp. Let's go ahead and go with this one. Ooh, oh my goodness, look at that beautiful pigment. Okay, I'm gonna need more for that because that's pretty intense. That might have been too much, but we'll see. Wow. Wow, okay, this is, like I said, this is gonna be really fun. And I'm wondering if you could, yeah, so I do have a little bit much here. Maybe I'll see if I can, yeah, you could just like paint with it. It's almost like you've made it into an ink, like an acrylic ink. Okay, let me, wow. Okay, guys, let me get in here a little bit closer so that you can see that. Beautiful color there. That was the cerulean blue. And okay, so let's try this one and this last one. Which one was this? This is the Fossy turquoise. So this was the turquoise green, and then this was the indigo, and this is the Fossy turquoise. I'm not sure what that stands for, Fossy. Oh, this is beautiful too. I am a super big fan of color, just generally. And one of the reasons why I've been getting back into soft pastels, and I'm going to go over here and connect these two just because we've got all this dry pigment here. Soft pastels are just pure color, pure pigment. And that really, really does appeal to me. Oh my God, so beautiful. Clearly there was a lot of pigment here. Let's see, because I do want to label these, so I'm going to leave some space for labeling. But yeah, you could dilute it out. Oh, this, okay, so I'm really excited about this discovery. And it looks like, so these are drying a little bit. That one's still pretty wet. That's interesting that this one would dry first, but maybe I had less of the stuff in there. And if you can see, it's rubbing off a little bit, but some of that, I'll have to see when it completely dries whether it does the same thing. All right, so this was just kind of a fun exploration and unboxing of these beautiful pigment cigars. And here you can see, I mean, wow. And you can actually, so with soft pastels and stuff, so usually the binder is something like gum arabic. I'm assuming that's similar in these cigars because they're essentially like giant pastels. So you could, if you're not if you have a ton of pastels and you don't know what to do with them, you could grind them up and make watercolor if you add more gum arabic, or maybe, you know, try and figure out your own formula or whatever. So you could have watercolors in these beautiful colors, because basically whatever medium you're using, it's really just, you know, a binder. So pigment is the basis of, well, fine art products, pigment is the basis of that. Some things are dye based, but anything pigment based is going to be like this. And then, you know, it really just depends. You can put an acrylic medium in it. You can put gum arabic or something like that. And if you put acrylic medium, it's going to be waterproof and acrylic. And if you put gum arabic, it'll be more like watercolor. So there's a whole world there to explore. And things like this, what I can definitely do is add this to mixed media projects, which is what I'm really excited to do. And just for your information, I do have a prior video on these Dashali watercolors up here that were really beautiful. This was just a, I had a bit of leftover of this Schminke Manganese Violet, and I didn't want to waste it, so I put it here as a swatch. But I think that's going to be all I have for you today, because I've already gone on a long time. This is kind of like pigment nerd stuff, because, you know, this is not for the faint of heart, I think. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to play with these swatches. I will put a little note below to let you know how this worked out when it dried, whether it's truly fixed to the page or if there was a little bit of rub off when these are completely dried. So I'm going to wait until that's the case to kind of make that determination, and then I'll let you know below. All right, well, feel free to subscribe to keep track of future videos on my channel. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. I often ask, what kind of content do you want? But frankly, a lot of times it's just what I'm into at the moment and what I'm exploring and dealing with as far as supplies and materials and that sort of thing. So I'm probably just going to kind of do, what I do. But if you do have preferences, let me know. All right. Well, I hope to see you next time. But in the meantime, have a great day. Thanks for joining me. Bye.